and welcome tonight. A three-story building housing the party secretariat of the All Progressives Congress in Okrika, local government area of Rivers State, has been attacked by unknown gunmen. The ruling party, the PDP, the opposition APC and INEC trade words over the APC's presidential candidate's certificate. 5 people killed, 46 injured in Yobe Potiskum GSM market attack. And more than 1 million people take part in a unity march in Paris after 17 people were killed during 3 days of deadly attacks in the French capital. We begin tonight with some news in politics. The academic qualifications of the APC's presidential candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, has come under the searchlight of the ruling People's Democratic Party. Now, the PDP questions the general's credentials and have also questioned the umpire, INEC, and what he feels it should be doing in the matter. The APC and INEC have equally reacted to the PDP's concern on the matter, which borders on whether or not General Buhari is qualified to stand for elections next month. We'll have more on that story later. In the meantime, the alleged raid by the DSS on the APC data center last year has generated several controversies. The DSS recently came out with its findings and says it discovers that the opposition party is planning to infiltrate INEC's database and has been registering unqualified persons as its members. The APC has been reacting to the allegations and says it will pursue the matter in court. Our political correspondent, Sheon Okimbaloye, reports.
The APC data center in Lagos, shortly after the Department of State Security was said to have raided it. Staff of the center were said to have been taken by the DSS for questioning on issues the security agency suspected might be going on here. Several weeks after the raid, the DSS comes out with its findings.
The APC had multiple registrations of individuals in multiples of 16, 12, and 10. Several foreigners were also registered as its members. Also, the APC filled forms without passport photographs. We also had forms with double passport photographs, one single name. We also had forms with passport photographs with no names affixed to them.
But the All Progressives Congress seems unsatisfied by the findings of the DSS.
Apparently, the thinking at the SSS, which is working in cahoots with the PDP, is that its report that the APC plans to hack into the voters' registration database of the Independent National Electoral Commission will raise doubts about the integrity of the voters' register to be used for the forthcoming polls, and subsequently force a postponement of the elections since the existing register cannot be used for the polls. Unfortunately for both the SSS and the PDP, this thinking was based on a wrong premise, as we'll show shortly, and it has backfired.
The APC is already in court over what it called the unlawful detention of its staff who were released several weeks ago. But today, the party brings some of the allegedly detained staff at the data center to tell their experiences in the custody of the DSS.
I was frightened. I had emotional torture. I started having pelvic pain. I had to complain. They said I'm lying. I said I told them before I left Lagos that this is my medical condition. These are the drugs I'm taking. I see no reason why they should even fly me in the first place.
They started threatening me that you must give the information, if you should say something else, or you cover out somebody else, you might be romping yourself into a situation which the end you cannot, in fact, talk about.
And the court in this right holds the last say. But then, Nigerians will want to know the whole truth of the matter. Sheon Okimbaloye, reporting for Channels Television News.
Onto security matters, at least 5 people have been killed in a double bomb blast that hit the global system communication market in Potiskum, Yobe State, northeast Nigeria. A top hospital source told Channels Television that 3 people were killed in the blast, while the 2 bombers also lost their lives. Our source, who prefers to remain anonymous, adds that 46 others are currently in the Potiskum General Hospital for medical attention. Today's bombing is coming a day after another explosive device went off at the divisional police station, also in Potiskum, killing 2 people on the spot. All victims of the 2011 post-election violence in Kaduna State are to receive a sum of 3 billion naira released by the federal government. This was disclosed by the state governor, Mokhtar at the 40th anniversary of the Emir of Zazzau on the throne held at the Emir's Palace in Zaria. Governor Yero said the money is already in the state government's coffers and will be disbursed as soon as possible to the affected victims.
The release of the funds coincides with the 40th coronation anniversary of the Emir of Zazzau, barely 1 week after the victims protested the delay in the release of the money, which was approved by the federal government in 2013. Among the dignitaries at the event is Vice President Namadi Sambo. Now, Kaduna is one of the states affected by the 2011 post-presidential election violence, in which angry supporters of a candidate of one of the political parties took to the streets and attacked innocent citizens. They also destroyed property worth billions.
It will be recalled that the state government assisted victims of the crisis in 2012 with the sum of 410 million. I'm also happy to announce that the federal government has also approved the sum of 3 billion to the state government, which is presently being processed to be disbursed as assistance to victims of the 2011 post-presidential election violence.
Although the money is coming rather late and close to another general election, government hopes the funds will help alleviate the suffering of the victims. Kaduna State Governor Mokhtar is asking the electorate to be law-abiding and allow the rule of law to prevail in order to avert the ugly incidents of 2011.
As you are aware, there are desperate politicians that are already beating the drum of war. For us, the next election is not a do-or-die affair, and it is not worth the single drop of blood of any citizen of this great state. I also urge all citizens to shun violence before, during, and after the election.
And just like the Kaduna State Governor, former Minister of Defense General Theophilus Danjuma is also asking for a stronger collaboration between the political class and traditional rulers in the country.
There is the need for politicians to learn and team up with the traditional rulers to launch and win an effective war on ignorance by promoting education at all levels. The current neglect of pre-primary, primary, and to some extent secondary education, especially in northern Nigeria, is detrimental to our public health.
While the release of the funds accompanies an event to be celebrated, the recipients are also hoping for an equitable and transparent disbursement.
Well, President Goodluck Jonathan has commended the security agencies for their continued gallantry in the face of the many security challenges confronting the nation. The president, who gave the commendation at a church service to mark the Armed Forces Remembrance Day for this year, noted that without the efforts of the military, the nation would have witnessed more serious security challenges than it is currently experiencing. He urged Nigerians to cooperate with the military and support them with their prayers. Our correspondent, Amaka Okafo, reports.
As it is customary with Christian gatherings, the service for the Armed Forces Remembrance Day began with a procession to usher in the body of clergies, President Goodluck Jonathan and his entourage. The president gave commendation for the military and urged Nigerians to continue to support them even as they confront the nation's common enemy.
Let me also appreciate the armed forces. Whenever you hear that people have been killed, it pains, and sometimes for the ordinary person who doesn't know what the armed forces are passing through, there's the temptation to say that they are not even doing anything. Yes, we know there are some black legs within the armed forces, no doubt about that. Some have been caught, some have been prosecuted. But on the overall, Nigerian armed forces are gallant people. They have been working hard day and night with the police, and that is why we are even sleeping, working in concert with other services like the SSS, NIA, and others. On such occasions, we must commend them. We must appreciate them. We have to really encourage them, because even the Bible asks us to encourage. Otherwise, we will have no reason even praising God who created us. He owns us. But still, we have to praise Him for Him to even do more for us. So we must commend them. I know as a president, because by virtue of my office, I know what happens in the whole country. And I know that if they are not people who have been working the day they are working, the way they are working, it would have been worse for us.
In his sermon, the prelate of the Methodist Church of Nigeria, Archbishop Chukwuma Uche, urged Nigerians and the military not to be faced by the current security challenges. He says the challenges will soon be a thing of the past. He, however, warned the elites to be more mindful of their utterances so as not to heat up the polity.
Political class should stop overheating the polity by making unguarded utterances. Please, let political campaigns be issue-based. Let people tell us what they want to do for us. Not interested in motopack languages, character assassination, and other forms of immature and irrational behavior. In fact, bloodshed, arson, kidnapping, thuggery are primitive ideas that should be checkmated.
Prayers were offered for the nation, the president, and members of the armed forces. The congregation also observed a minute's silence for all the soldiers who lost their lives in the line of duty. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, our end of the year review continues with our focus on the power sector. Please join us again.